Hello, Leo, and welcome to your forecast for Venus retrograde March 2017. Now, this works if you have your ascendant, moon, or sun in Leo. Now, remember, this is just a general forecast. If you want a more detailed reading with your details in your birth chart, you can always make an appointment with me at the link below. Okay, so this video I'm going to be talking about what is Venus retrograde, what is it that it does to the world and to ourselves, and also I'm going to be talking about specifically what it does to you, Leo, and what part of your life is Venus trying to reevaluate things for you. And at the end of the reading, I'm going to be pulling out a card from the Oracle of Angels by Doreen Virtue to try to see if we can maybe give you some guidance on this moment right now when it comes to Venus retrograde. Okay? Alrighty, Leo, so let's get to it. Alrighty, Leo. So, Venus retrograde. What is this Venus retrograde? What is it all about? Well, Venus retrograde is a time that happens every single 19 months or so. And Venus, the planet of love, beauty, money, values, luxury, aesthetics, anything that's beautiful, anything that practically the humankind is all obsessed about. Venus is anything that brings us pleasure, anything that brings us love, and also even relationships. Relationships are a major, major, major thing, as well as justice, because Venus also rules Libra, the scales. So it's justice, diplomacy. How can you relate to your brotherhood, without causing problems or without causing issues? So this is something very important. Venus is trying to bring justice, especially if you've been feeling that you've been, that things haven't been fair for you. Then this is the month where you're going to be seeing that things are finally going to bring some sort of clarity and there's going to be justice served. Also, if there's been any issues that have been, put under the rug, or that you've been ignoring, but it's something that actually, gets you irritated, this is the month where you're not going to be able to hold back. You're not going to be able to hold your tongue, and you're going to need to speak up, and you're going to need to really say how you feel. So for you, it really has to do with a lot of your belief system. So during this month, Venus and Uranus and Mercury are all sitting in your ninth house of higher thoughts, philosophy, of higher education. So for any Leos out there who are still in school, college, or anything like that, this could be a time where you're really reevaluating, your whole college situation. There could be some challenges or some issues coming up in the surface. Also with any gurus, and at the same time, you're kind of feeling limited. That's practically what it is. This is the house of feeling expansive, where you travel and you see different cultures and you learn different things, and then you feel this expansion of self. You feel this expansion of your being. So with Jupiter here, with Venus here, and Venus retrograding in this house, you might be feeling like the limits that you have. You might be feeling like all the limits that are constricted in you right now. How you can feel like you can just break free. At the same time, you could be feeling like a syndrome of the grass is always greener on the other side. So you feel limited, that you're in something, but you could be there. What's over there. So you could be having a little bit of like a syndrome of the grass is always greener in the other side, and this can definitely cause a lot of unhappiness with where you are currently. Because in reality, this house is the house of wealth. It's the house of wealth, but the real wealth. Not just the physical material wealth, but the wealth of you feeling rich inside, where you got everything. You got everything that you need. You don't need any more. There's not an empty void that you have to fill with things or people or emotions. It's not that. It's you're feeling good about yourself. You feeling content with yourself. You're not feeling like people are constricting you or self-limiting you, but you feel like you can expand as much as you want. So during this time, you could be feeling a little bit limited, and you could also be feeling like, that you can't seem to communicate your values to people, or your belief system, or like what gives you faith is like you're kind of having a little bit of issue maybe communicating this as well. So during this time, life wants you to really, at the end of the day, evaluate your perception, okay? The ninth and the third house are practically the house of perception. That's how I see them. It's the house of where your mind processes things. The third house being the lower half where you're learning the academic stuff and all these things, but then the ninth house is the abstract thought, the higher thought. And all of these things really have to do with perception, really. And like you see here, this Eye of Horus that I have in my background, this Eye of Horus was the magical tool for the Egyptians to conquer what they wanted to do. They realized that the human being had this third eye, and that with his thoughts, he can project, in a way or another, 3D images into his atmosphere until eventually will materialize in real form. Imagine how powerful that is. The power that your mind has, your thoughts have, your words have, really manifest everything that's around you. So Venus is reevaluating these things, saying, okay, are you really, do you have a clean head? Or do you feel so, are you still whimsical? Are you still curious about life? Do you feel like when you learn knowledge is like rich? Or are you feeling like very righteous to the point that, oh, I already know everything, I already know this, I already know that, and people are kind of like, okay, well, there's nothing for you to learn. Apparently you know everything. So it's during this time that life wants you to really evaluate these ideals and these moralities and these higher thoughts that you're processing. You know. So eventually by the end of the transit, you're gonna be great though. Okay, at the beginning it's gonna be a little bit weird. People are gonna challenge your beliefs, and people are gonna challenge the way that you go about things and your perceptions. And you might feel frustrated, but it's also a wake up call that Venus is saying, hey, maybe there's something awkward, something not right in your perception of life that is actually making you feel smaller, that is actually making you feel less, that is actually making you feel like life is not abundant for you. So it is a change of perception. And the good thing is that Mercury is here throughout the whole month trying to help you, analyze the situation, analyze what your beliefs are, and analyze what is your higher thoughts and your philosophies. And it's also helping for anybody who's in college trying to graduate or trying to study. It's also a house of study. So at the beginning of the month, you're going to be dealing with a lot of self-undoing in a way. And then by 420, when the astrological calendar begins again and the sun goes into Aries, you're going to be shining again. You're going to be feeling like, okay, my optimism came back. I'm feeling healthy in my perceptions. I'm not feeling like I'm missing out on things. I'm feeling like I'm making the right choices, and I'm not feeling limited. I'm actually feeling like that this opportunity that I'm about to have in my life and do, or what I'm about to pursue, it's going to be a huge field of open space for me to explore and see. And this is all perception. It really is. So it's going to be there. And then at the same time, Mars is going to be in your 10th house throughout the whole month. So Mars here is trying to help you also propel into your career, propel into your purpose in life. You're not procrastinating these things. It's a really good placement for Mars. You can get a lot of accomplished by being very assertive in your field of profession and just pushing forward. Your beliefs and your perceptions can also trigger things with your relationships. Let's not forget, Venus retrograde has to do with relationships nonetheless. It has to do with love and relationships. And you do have Saturn in the 5th house of creativity, romance, love, and children. So, for Leos who are parents, you could be changing your perception about your kids right now. Maybe your kids are growing up, and you have to start seeing them as an adult. If not, it's limiting them. Maybe it's about your creative energies, your creative pursuits. Are you really taking into account your creative energies and your inner child to are you neglecting that youthful part of yourself because your perception is like, I need to be a grown-up, I need to just grow up, I need to just, it's going back and playing. That's so you, Leo, this is where you shine. And it could be hard with Saturn in the 5th house, your own house. Saturn in the house of fun, boo, the worst, it sucks. But life is trying to get you a little bit more serious with what your pleasures are all about, Because sometimes some pleasures, yes, they might feel good, but they might not be really good for us. So just putting a little bit more seriousness and a little bit more of thought and responsibility in these aspects can be really good. and also relationships. So for any Leos that are going through some major relationship issues, which I'm sure that Venus brings them up, this is a time where life wants you to learn some lessons about love, and how is it that you share love? How is it that you receive love? Are you playing with people's hearts? Are you being honest? And also, how is your perception about your loved one? Because sometimes, especially when you get more into your relationship, and you guys already know each other and you guys live together, then you start getting into this thing where, like, oh, I already know what they're gonna do. Oh, already, yeah. Oh, you're still gonna do that. You're still gonna do this. And at the beginning of the relationship, it wasn't like that. You weren't just assuming everything that they will do. You were actually interested and curious about this individual who is a mystery to you. So you were like, okay, what are you all about? Oh my God, wow, I didn't know you did this, and I didn't know you did that. And like, oh, it's so cool how, like, the way that that's how people fall in love. It's like, oh my God, the way that he reacts to the world. I love that. So, maybe your whole issues in your relationships, or you not being able to have the relationship that you want for yourself, is a perception thing. Maybe not being able, to be as creative as you want to be, maybe it's a perception thing. Maybe the relationship that you have with your children and how you're perceiving your children could be, a perception that might be hindering you. So definitely reevaluate your perceptions and and the way that you think about things, and give yourself a chance to maybe not know. And this is going to be really good, especially, because Jupiter is in your third house of learning and communication. So deep down inside, you have a strong sense of communicating and learning something new right now too, Leo. So there's a lot of mental activity for you going on. Okay, so let's see. I'm shuffling some cards here. Let's see what message is for Leo on Venus retrograde 2017. Okie dokie. So your card is, very interesting. Opportunity to forgive. Very interesting. This situation brings you the opportunity to heal, grow, and release negative patterns. Hold the intention of seeing the other person's inner divine light and goodness. This is good. We will help you release unforgiving thoughts, feelings, and energies, and lift you to a higher place of peace and compassion. Wow, Leo. Wow. What I was just saying. I was just talking about exactly that. I was talking about how your perception can ruin something beautiful in the moment. If you're holding on to something that just needs to be released, if you're holding on to a thought or a way of perceiving things that is not helping you, is making you feel depleted, is making you feel less, is making you feel like you don't have enough, and this is not, this is a time to just release it. Give your opportunity to forgive. And look what it says. It says, hold the intention of seeing the other person's inner divine light and goodness. When you're making this perception change, Leo, you need to see the subject. Either it could be your career, your loved one, whoever it is that, whatever it is that's, most predominant, Leo, what it is. Give yourself the opportunity to look it in front of you and forgive. Forgive yourself. Forgive the other person. And this is going to release all that negative energy. You could be feeling like, because this house is so crucial. The ninth house is such a crucial part because it's the part of your faith. Imagine that. Your faith is the only thing that, it's the only thing that gives you that propel for the next, for the tomorrow, for tomorrow being okay. It's crucial. I mean, yes, we abuse it sometimes with different religions and things like that, but that's an obstruction. That's an obscurity of it. What really faith is all about is feeling like you can do the things that you want to do. And that's powerful. And that's all about perception of how you see the situation. And if you want to release all these negative patterns, you need to forgive any situation. Forgive yourself. Forgive, don't hold this guilt. This is also an emotional reboot at the same time. Venus retrograde is an emotional restart for yourself. Okay, Leo? All right, Leo. Thank you so much for sharing with me today. It was a pleasure giving you your forecast for Venus retrograde, Leo. I'm I'm sending you all my good energy for all these things to go through, and I'm sure you're going to come out very victorious at the end, of course, because you have the will to do it. Thank you for liking, subscribing. Thank you for sharing, and please, Leo, leave some comments about your experiences with Venus retrograde. What is happening? This is a safe space with other Leos that might be going through the same things. All right, Leo, then I'll be seeing you next time. Have a wonderful day.